Final exam review, question 81. The average weekly income of teachers in one school district is $390 with a standard deviation of $45. Find the percentage of teachers earning more than $425 a week. Let's start this problem by assuming that the data comes from a normal distribution. I'm going to make a quick sketch of a normal distribution and a bell curve. In our case, we're given that the mean is $390 with a standard deviation of $45. Now we're interested in the $425 a week salary, so that'll be to the right of the 390 somewhere, but to the right. And then we want to know what percentage of the teachers earn more than $425. That would be represented by this area that I've shaded in. Because there are an infinite number of different normal distributions, which would require an infinite number of tables, we take a normal distribution and standardize it into what's called the standard normal curve. In the standard normal curve, if you remember, the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. So our 390 is going to be transformed into 0. Our 45 will be transformed into 1. Now we need to figure out what the $425 will be transformed into. We do that using z-scores. To find the z-score, we're going to take our particular piece of data, the 425, subtract the mean, and divide it by the standard deviation 45. This tells us how many standard deviations the 425 is from the 390. This subtraction gives us the directed distance between the mean and the 425. Then when I divide it by the 45, that tells me how many of these standard deviations are in that directed distance. We'll let our calculator do that. $425 minus 390 over 45. Let's make sure this is a decimal answer. That's approximately 0.78. So this $425 in our normal distribution is represented by a z-score of 0.78 in the standard normal distribution. And again, we'll be looking for what percent is represented by the shaded area. To do that, we're going to need to use a table. If we look at the table of a standard normal curve, the mean is 0. Here's our particular z-score. The purple shaded region represents what percent of the data is below the z-score. In our case, 0.78. We'll look that up as a z-score. So here's our z's, and we want 0.7. Here's 0.7. And we want 0.78, which will be right here. The table tells us then that this area to the left of the z-score is 0.7823 in both curves. If we remember, and hopefully we do, the area with a percent under the entire curve is 1, or 100%. So if we know this part represents 0.7823, the red shaded part would be represented by 1 minus 0.7823, or 0.21 So this 0.2177 represents the proportion that is greater than $425 or the 0.78 z-score. The question did ask us for what percentage of teachers, so we need to transform this decimal to a percent. 0.2177 as a percent is 21.77%. Thus, the percent of teachers earning more than $425 would be 21.77%.